So you might be wondering, how long is it going to take me to learn the Palmer method? And to answer that, we need to first define what it means to learn the Palmer method. And like I said in the last video, there's two aspects to the Palmer method. There is the letter forms, or the visual look of the script, and then there's the execution of the script, using the arm, using muscular movement, is what Palmer called it. And a lot of people might only be concerned about learning that first part, which is totally fine with me. If you don't want to get into the arm movement stuff, I understand. It's a totally valid goal just to focus on the letter forms and not worrying about changing the way you write. And if that's you, it's going to take you a lot less time to learn the Palmer method. If that's your goal, that's what learning the Palmer method means to you. Probably just a matter of months, and maybe even a matter of weeks if you have a background in penmanship. Okay? And if you're just focused on that, you don't want to do the arm movement stuff, you definitely want to check out my online course at consistentcursive.com. Okay? That course has over 40 videos, 5.5 hours of content, all dedicated to teaching you the letter forms of traditional American cursive, which are basically the Palmer method forms. Okay, so check that out, consistentcursive.com. Now, if you want to learn the arm movement stuff, the execution stuff of the Palmer method, stick around. You're going to need to spend a little more time learning this stuff, developing those arm muscles to write. Okay, it's not natural for most people. I've never met anybody that it is natural for. There might be some exceptions out there. If you've done anything where you're controlling small movements with your arm, not the fingers of the hand, you might have a leg up learning this Palmer method stuff. But unless you're one of those rare cases, it's probably going to take you a good 6 months to maybe even a year to get comfortable writing with your arm, writing with muscular movement. Okay, it definitely took me at least 6 months to get to the point where I could really even write legibly with the Palmer method. Okay, and that's dedicated practice. And there's two defining factors that are going to determine how long it takes you to get comfortable with the Palmer method. One is going to be your dedication, your level of commitment to practicing, and the other is going to be your definition of success. So if you're practicing every day or almost every day, you're going to make a lot of progress in that first month or two. Okay, and over the course of a year, you're going to make a ton of progress. All right, it's inevitable. If you're not very committed, if you're practicing, 1 or 2 times a week, or maybe you're practicing for a week straight and then you take 2 weeks off and then you get back into it, you're probably not going to make very much progress over the course of a year. So that dedication that you bring to it is going to be a huge factor. The other, your definition of success. So if you just want to get to the point where you can comfortably write with your arm and execute forms that are similar to the Palmer method script, or are approaching the letter forms that Palmer teaches, you just want to write legibly with the Palmer method, with muscular movement. 6 months is totally reasonable to get into that goal of regular practice. Now, if you want to achieve a very high level of Palmer method script, then, it can take you years. I've been doing this for 4 years and I haven't gotten my script to the point where I've wanted it to go yet. Okay, I'm still learning things, which is one of the beautiful things about American penmanship, is that there's just so much to learn, and you can always improve. So I think that answers the question. The last thing I just want to impart to you is that it really comes down to how serious you are and getting clear about what you want to do. Ask yourself, do I really want to learn the arm movement stuff? Maybe you don't, and that's okay. Or maybe you really do, and if you really do, know that you really want to learn that arm movement stuff, the execution of this, because it's going to take that dedication. And the more clear you are about what you want to learn, then the more serious you can become about learning that. And the more serious you are about learning, the less likely you are to care about how long it's going to take you to learn it. Okay?